Well,
It's trade deadline.
it sure is.
Philadelphia has made some consequential moves.
What are you, nuts?
That's right.
Yep.
We'll talk about that in a second. But first, I want to talk about sleep. I want you to fall asleep, not right now. My hope is that this video keeps you awake, but that if you use Sleep Breakthrough,
I hope so.
from Bioptimizers, that you'll be able to fall asleep later, and you'll fall asleep into that REM sleep fast. Jesse, why do we love this so much?
It's all natural. I think that's the key here. It's not like taking melatonin directly. It's gonna cause the things in your body that cause melatonin to kick into action so that you fall asleep immediately.
That's right. Now, Steve, who's not paying attention, he's looking up information
I
on
am.
the trade that we're about to talk about. Steve, what's the promo code? If I go to bioptimizers.com/dangle, if I wanted to save 10% on checkout, what code would I use?
Dangle.
How do you spell it?
Dangle.
Dangle. There you go.
Bioptimizers.com/dangle.
We got two moves in Philadelphia today for the surprise Philadelphia Flyers, who are very much in the playoffs and very much looking like they're going to stay.
They're buying. They're selling. They're both. They're
are
everything in between. They're tinkering.
Let's start with this. Dennis Gurianov, former first-round pick. I believe he was like a 14th overall pick at
12th.
12th. There you
12th.
go. Has joined the Philadelphia Flyers. He has 1 goal, 1 assist in 14 games with the Predators this season. He scored 20 with Dallas in 2019-2020. Wade Allison going the other way. What do we think about Denis Gurianov joining the Philadelphia Flyers? It seems like an odd pick for a John Tortorella team.
Yeah, it's two players who are just tantalizing, man. Or at very least they were once upon a time. Gurianov was drafted 9 years ago. And
that's crazy, by the way.
I know. And at
How?
what point do you go, okay, maybe he's just not who we thought he was?
He's fast.
He's fast. He's 6'3". He's 205 pounds. What about that is not to like? He's 26 years old. Again, what about that is not to like? This is the sort of guy who should just be wrecking shop, and he's not. Now, something happened this season that I think could be good for him, though. So he's been in the NHL consistently, a career high of 31 points. It just hasn't been happening for him. This year, he went to the AHL with the Milwaukee Admirals in 27 games, 12 goals, 18 assists for 30 points. Maybe he needed to go to the minors, and maybe this is the beginning of what could be the late bloomer stage in his career. The career trajectory that I'm kind of thinking of for Denis Gurianov is Stefan Nason, a dude who was a total throw-in in the Leafs Blue Jackets Nick Foligno deal. He played 1 game for them, I think. He then completely wrecked shop in the minors the next year, and now he's on like the first unit power play for the Carolina Hurricanes. Maybe not anymore after today, but he obviously enjoyed like a renaissance in his career. That could happen for Gurianov too. Wade Allison is kind of the 2016 version of that, maybe not quite as high stakes. He was a 2nd-round pick for the Philadelphia Flyers. And Flyers fans, I'm sure you already know this, but in case you don't already, apologies in advance for ruining your day. Wade Allison, 52nd overall, 2016. Who was 53rd? I'll give you a clue. He was a noted Alan Walsh client.
53rd overall.
And it would have completely changed the makeup of the Philadelphia Flyers.
I don't know.
Philip Hronik.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Now, Gurianov's played games in the NHL this year. Allison's played games in the NHL this year. I think he has 9 goals. Like, neither of these players are bad. They're just, you need to be more than just not bad to crack a top 12 in the NHL. I believe in both these guys. I think they can both play. I'm fascinated to see what a coach who tolerates nothing in John Tortorella does with Denis Gurianov.
The other move Philadelphia made today, guys, and Jesse, this is where I want to ask you. Veteran Stanley Cup winning defenseman Erik Johnson, from Buffalo to Philly for a reported 4th-round pick in 2024. He's played 50 games with the Sabres this season, almost 1,000 in his career. It seems to make a lot more sense than Gurianov does, doesn't it?
I love the idea of rewarding this Flyers group with a vet like Erik Johnson. You know, he's not gonna
Selling.
Despite selling, no, but they want extra bodies on the back end, and Erik Johnson provides that. And he's a UFA at the end of it. He's 35 plus. Like he's old and beaten up, and his time there isn't for to be a long-term flyer. This is for, we might make the playoffs here, and it looks like we're going to. Let's get Erik Johnson to bolster up this team, because we're not just going to sell off everything. We've already sold off quite a bit, but we can get something back for a 4th-round pick that's going to help us in this stretch run. And Erik Johnson's going to be very useful for the Flyers.
These are the kind of deals that you never see coming ahead of trade deadline, but they always happen. It's just they're not the sexy ones, so you forget about it. Sean Walker. That's the one we all had our eyes on. And what we've been talking about for weeks is, why are they selling? I understand you're still rebuilding, but you're in a playoff spot. Why are you selling? They sold when it made sense with the future in mind, but they're not punting on the season. Gurianov's going to play games for them, maybe playoff games if they make it. Erik Johnson is going to play playoff games for them if they make it. I think they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. It'll be fascinating to see if it works. They're doing what's right for the future of this team, but it's also important to get playoff experience.
I think Daniel Briere is in the greatest position ever. Like, how can you not just be elated with the way this season gone? Like, you were supposed to be selling everything. Like, nothing. The Flyers aren't supposed to be where they are now. And look at them. They're sitting happy in the Metro Division. They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be a hard out.
Like, if the Flyers don't make the playoffs, fans will be disappointed, but will they be disappointed with you?
It's not. It's not the end of the world. Even they're supposed to be rebuilding, and it's bonus the way they're playing this season. I don't think they're gonna miss, but if they do, like, there's no reason to be disappointed in the team itself.
There's reason. you want them to win.
You want them to win for sure, but like, look at the bigger picture.
Exactly. Yeah. I think today, so far, there might still be moves. The Flyers have done a really good job addressing the future and the present.
A small story. Do you guys know why the Philadelphia Flyers are named the Philadelphia Flyers?
No.
So Ed Snyder bought the team way back when, and they needed to come up with a name for the team. So they decided, like most teams, we're going to hold a contest. We're going to ask all the fans to submit your names. We're going to take them. We're going to evaluate that. During the contest, while it was on, Ed Snyder's sister came to him, Phyllis Snyder, and said, hey, what if we just called them the Flyers? That's a cool name. It goes well with Philadelphia. Ed Snyder said, okay, let's cancel the contest mid-contest and just call them the Flyers. And ever since then, his sister just saying, that's a cool name. And that's why they're called the Flyers. So maybe acquiring Erik Johnson is just like, hey, that's cool. Let's do that. And that's just the ethos of who they are.
I like that. Lulz, dog. Lulz. You know what? When you're a rich guy's anything, sister, friend, whatever, you can things like that happen.
Fuck the fans.
Yeah.
Who needs to come up with a name through a contest?
Why would I engage the community when I could simply ask my sister?
Shout out Phyllis Snyder.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what though? Big shout out to the Philadelphia Flyers for, frankly, a very surprising year. The vibes are great in Philadelphia. The players are all commenting each other's Instagram. Feels like they're very together in that room. And producer Drew, obviously, who knows Erik Johnson very well, being a longtime fan of the Avalanche, said he's an absolute dog. Vet PK guy, blocks everything. That's exactly the type of player that John Tortorella wants. I want you to catch that puck with your teeth. That's that kind of guy.
And he will.
Absolutely.